Tyrion at King's Landing. His father hates him, father hates him, father hates him, father hates him.
Theon, he's getting tortured, and he deserves it, he deserves it, he deserves it, he deserves it.
There's Jorah, he's on a world, he's a pussy, he's a pussy, he's a pussy, he's a pussy,
Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
You think you're the smartest man there is? But everyone alive has to bow and scrape and lick your boots.
My father.
And if you get in any trouble, all you've got to do is say, my father. And that's it. All your troubles are gone. Have you got something to say? Careful. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You're nothing without your daddy. Your daddy ain't here. Never forget that. Yeah, this should help you remember.
All right, welcome to the Game of Thrones separate podcast we're doing here about Game of Thrones. Obviously, still no Eric.
Yeah, still no Eric here.
No Eric to complain about how the show's boring.
No negativity. Well, perhaps there'll be some negativity.
Yeah, maybe,
from
but
us,
you know what? It won't be as bad, guys. It won't be as bad.
Yeah, we're fans of the Game of Thrones show. That's the point of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I think Eric probably did like this episode too.
Yeah.
We don't want to say anything about him, but since he's not here, we can say whatever we want about him.
Yeah,
we're gonna be honest.
No, it's true.
He's a poop face. He's a big poop face.
Yeah. You were saying how Joffrey's a pussy. Maybe he's a
bit of a pussy. All right. Anyway, let's get this show on the road here. I think this is a pretty exciting episode coming up from the second episode. This is definitely a big lift up in action and in plot development as well.
No, for sure. I mean, like in the book, it turned out the same way. It was like literally from this point where the guillotine or the knife gets slammed down. Yeah, that's where it starts becoming really serious.
Of course, we were talking about
the big
Jaime
ending.
Lannister getting his sword hand chopped off.
Yeah, his right hand, his sword hand is gone.
So that's very interesting to me. Jaime's like one of the most fascinating characters. I think he's one of the most honest characters in the show. Like he's just everyone in the show says whatever he wants. Yeah, everyone in the show is kind of selfish, but he's the only one that really like admits it. He's just like, yeah, you know what? I pushed a kid out a window. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
like, and he is making kind of a turnaround now. Like he saved Brienne from getting raped. He's becoming more honest, becoming a bit more of a.
He's becoming influenced by her. Yeah,
exactly.
A
The Starks are rubbing off on him a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, at least Catelyn a little bit. I mean, I think he still thinks Rob's a dick, probably.
Yeah, probably. He's trying to kill his whole family. So
yeah,
that's obviously a bit of a downer. But anyway, yeah, I think Jaime's story did definitely advance a lot. That's a big thing for him. Brienne, obviously, they're going to have a bit more of a relationship, I think, him and Brienne. I don't know where that's going to go, but I think they're definitely going to, Jaime's going to have to retrain himself to use a sword with the left hand. So maybe she'll help him with that. Who knows? You know what? It should be interesting, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a case of like, he was expecting to get out of it completely, right? He was expecting to be able to save her, like
and just be like, okay, my father's gonna pay you tons of money, I'll be fine,
and everything. Yeah, like,
nope.
But no, it didn't work out that way at all. His daddy's money isn't helping him this time.
No, ain't gonna buy you back a hand, Jaime. What? Anyway, we had a lot of other plots get pushed forward here. Arya. Definitely a bit more. They lost. What's the fat kid's name again?
Hot Pie.
Hot Pie. Yeah. So they left him behind. He's now a baker, and I figured they would have leave him behind eventually. He is definitely weight.
Yeah.
So
he's having trouble keeping up, is what you're trying to say, right?
So they're moving on with the Brotherhood, which is a fascinating group of people. Still, the Brotherhood. They're like Robin Hood and the Merry Men, right? They're
a little bit, yeah.
They're rich, feed the poor.
They're like in between of it all. Like they're just kind of doing.
They fight for the people. They fight for the people, not like fighting for the crown, which is nice to have a group like that. Mm-hmm. Jon Snow obviously going towards the wall.
Yeah,
he has this infiltration group.
Yeah, splitting up from Mance Raider for a little bit.
And Mance Raider made it pretty clear that if Jon fucks up, kill him.
Yeah, throw him off the wall. Throw him off the wall. That's it.
So that's probably going to happen. Or probably, no, I don't think he's going to throw it off. No, I mean he's not going to get thrown off the wall. But I think there's going to be some obvious hesitation from Jon, having to infiltrate his brothers, pretty much.
Well,
I think Jon is still loyal to the Night's Watch. But I think deep down he also does sort of believe in the wildlings' cause of just, they know what the real threat is. They know that after this is all said and done, the White Walkers are the ones they really have to worry about. But at the same time, he's not going to betray the Night's Watch, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was kind of left open for a little bit in the sense that at first it was like maybe he's actually switched over a little bit. But I guess there's some moments here and there like where it's like, okay, maybe he's playing them or whatever, right?
Yeah,
again, I don't want to say anything because I know what happens.
You read the books, but for people who are watching the show, he's definitely showing that double side of like, oh, is he with the wildlings, or oh no, I think he's still loyal to the Night's Watch. So definitely have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, the rest of the Night's Watch arriving back at the crazy daughter humping psychopath who who gives his sons to the White Walkers and whatnot, and the girl that Sam was smitten on gave birth to a baby boy. Yeah,
indeed. I was afraid they actually showed that too.
They that was graphic. That was a bit graphic, but that's what the show is. The show, the show is nudity. The show shows you things that you don't expect to see, and that's why I like the show. And that's going to be very interesting. Sam's going to have to obviously grow a set of nuts to save that baby boy. I think he's going to at least try to, because Sam's a noble guy.
He's trying. He's trying his best.
He tries his best.
Yeah.
He tries his best for the obvious disabilities we had. What other storylines do we have?
Well, we mentioned Rob, and Rob finally gets to River Run to his parents.
That was great when they were trying to light the barge on fire, and he meets
some of Kat's more I don't want to say physically challenged brothers and stuff like that. Yeah,
man, poor Kat. She is just having a terrible time. And it was nice to see, these other characters. I forgot. I'm not sure who the names of these other characters.
Well, Blackfish was her father's brother.
Okay,
the guy he's the one that eventually
his uncle, or her uncle.
Okay. Yes.
So like he was pretty much telling her you can't be crying all the time because Rob still needs a mother figure here. Even though he's pissed at you, you can't just give up on life.
Yeah, Rob's like at the point where he kind of needs extra strength to be going certain ways because even with her brother, he messed up. Like they didn't really mention it before, but Rob was planning this kind of an attack.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
And that was
to
cool.
Take down the mountain.
I really like that scene. I'm glad you brought that out because it shows Rob is taking more of a kingly role now. He's calling out his other things. He's saying like, "Yo, I gave you a direct order to not abandon this mill or whatever it was." Or not attack this mill, and you attacked it just to
you
just
took
so
it
you
upon yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's not what we wanted. We want.
He was thinking bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly. He's like we gotta think war. This is a war. So Rob showing more of these kingly, more like he could rule a kingdom, and unfortunately, I do think he's gonna die eventually. But it's good to see in a character.
It's a funny thing with Rob right now is like he's the guy that hasn't lost a battle yet. But they telegraphed that perfectly where it was Rob, he had his whole scene there, and then they went to Tywin right after he mentioned Tywin Lannister.
And
right?
that was
it's a big, a big face-to-face battle.
It's pretty much
fighting against
like
Tywin.
Head-to-head, man.
And Tywin's not won very many battles, but he's won the big ones.
No, Tywin is an experienced general who is already taking on a king role pretty much. Like Joffrey is the king, but Tywin is pretty much ruling that kingdom right now. Joffrey is just going through puberty and a bunch of shit, and Tywin's pretty much has to take up the mantle. And you can tell that his experience is showing. He's no bullshit, just down to brass tacks, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, his battles that he's won, he beat Stannis, right, over there,
and got the Tyrells,
he took up the Tyrells. He has all these allegiances now.
And the Tyrells are a huge ally to have. For sure, who are going to obviously take up arms against Rob if Tywin calls, probably. Like, I don't know. Like that, the Tyrells are still a very interesting group of people because I'm not really sure what their intentions are. Especially Marjorie, who's of course supposed to marry Joffrey, but I think she's definitely playing him a bit, and we're gonna see to what ends that is.
Yeah.
I guess Daenerys' story got a bit more advanced as well.
Well, yeah, we were looking last episode. We were kind of like, we were hoping to get some more resolution.
And we definitely
from
did.
Hers, but now we get it. It's funny just the way it goes because she's listening a lot to Barristan, and really, I guess maybe even people might have thought it's almost like she sees them as equals right now.
Yeah, I don't know if they just they didn't want to spend the time. I don't know what it was like in the books, but I don't know if they wanted to spend the time like developing that relationship. But when you go to the show, it's like instantly she considers him one of the gang.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really go through a trial period or like kind of like a wavering thing. It was just like, okay, sure, you're in.
See, a thing that they did differently from the books and from this is that when he shows up, she doesn't know that he's Barristan yet.
Yeah.
Because neither of them know what he looks like. Neither Jorah or Daenerys know what Barristan looks like. So he's just there and he's literally helping them for the longest time.
And then eventually they figure it out. I think it's good for the show because obviously they might as well. That's just they don't have time to develop
the actors.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
Right?
They don't have time to develop that whole storyline. They got to kind of get the ball rolling here. And obviously Daenerys selling a dragon for an army, or supposedly going to sell a dragon. I think she's obviously going to have an alternate, like
another alternate plan.
Ulterior motive is what I'm looking for. Because I don't think she's going to give one of her dragon because she considers her dragons her children, and there's no way that she would give up one of her children for an army.
Yeah.
But once again, as it stands right now, that's
what her plan is.
What
it looks to be.
The super sexist slaver dude is going to get a dragon.
more awesome dialogue for him as well, right? What a colorful character,
funny,
right?
Yeah, those are just funny moments. Anything else that happened that episode?
What? There was no Bran. There was no
Bran. So obviously, I think we're going to get Bran. Theon Greyjoy.
Theon.
This is a very fascinating story as well. For me, it's becoming much more fascinating because he has this like guardian angel now with him. Don't know what the hell his name is.
And this is a story that we can talk about freely right now too.
You don't know what happens in the books.
I don't know what happens. I'm only in partway through the 5th book.
Okay.
And his stuff comes in the 5th book.
So we don't know.
If that's a change that you guys want to know, they're fast tracking this story big time.
Yeah. I think obviously because he was a big integral part of the end of season 2. I don't think as the show they didn't want to just leave his story because
and then have him show up.
And once again,
2 or 3 seasons from now,
it's the actor. Like you have to lock down these actors.
Yeah,
and they can't just they don't want to say okay, you're going to take a 2-year break then come back.
See, and I made my thoughts clear completely about like the character. Like last season, I hated him without a doubt, but the actor did a fabulous job of trying to figure out these 2 different ways.
Yeah,
and it's just a case of keeping this actor on there because again, he
plays the character perfectly.
Well. Yeah.
You can tell he's a dick, but he's still very confused. He's
doesn't
going
know
through
what to
father
do.
issues. He's lost. He's trying to figure out who he is, but he's doing it in a very terrible way.
No, yeah. Talk about Ned's a character that's made so many bad decisions. He might be on par with Ned in terms of the amount of bad decisions.
Yeah,
that
but
he's made.
The difference is his bad decisions, are for the wrong reasons, and Ned's were for a noble cause, even though they were kind of.
Yeah. He's making Theon's making enemies.
Yeah, Theon's making way too many enemies. The North hates him. Straight up hates him. His father's not a fan of him, I don't think.
Well, and the last thing we saw was his sister walked away from him. But now, who knows what's happening
obviously, apparently his sister's the one who's trying to save him with this mystery guy who's a badass archer.
If again, I don't know what's going on here, but if I was to forecast something, I don't think that guy is exactly in league with his sister. I think he has something else going on.
I think it'd be weird for his. If I was thinking his sister would go herself if she was that concerned, or she was that concerned. Like she seems like a kind of do it yourself kind of woman.
But just because she's the daughter of
what's his
Balon Greyjoy,
yeah, Beardy Magoo over there.
Yeah, yeah. Just because she's a daughter of him, maybe people might know who she is more. Maybe.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I'm not sure he's telling him telling Theon the entire
there's
story.
A few mysteries there.
That's a mysterious storyline.
Yeah.
And of course we'll end it here with Melisandre leaving Stannis to go do her own things. And man, she is just making him her bitch. Like she's saying, Stannis is like, oh, make me another ghost child so we can assassinate Joffrey. She's like, oh, your light isn't strong enough. Like, oh. Just slapping him around like a piece of meat, just whenever she wants to.
He's really like frail right now. Like what does he have like right now? He literally has nothing because
he's got a bunch of men who think he's probably crazy.
Yeah, and he has a hand. We didn't get to see Davos, but we assume that he's in prison over there. So he has a hand of his king,
the king that he put in prison,
that he put in prison, and who he sort of considers a traitor at this moment. I guess,
and also the crazy lady who. No one knows what she's up to.
No, yeah, she's a mysterious character. It's like she's literally the character that you know nothing about, and you want to find out the most about.
For sure. Next episode, I hope to see a bit more Sansa's story.
Sansa, she wasn't even in this episode.
No, she wasn't. I really like
Marjorie,
the story.
Joffrey,
Marjorie and Joffrey. I want to see more of that, and obviously Bran as well, with these two other new characters that we get introduced to in the second episode.
We almost forgot to mention good old Pod.
Oh yeah, Pod.
Got his wang a little wet.
He doesn't have to pay for whores to have sex with him. That's how much of a stud Pod is.
Yeah.
That was a great
and then
scene.
And then he got some free drinks afterwards from Bron.
Him and Bron are just like, all right, sit down. We got to have a talk about what you did in there.
Yeah. And literally when he's getting all the whores with him, it's like the third one that comes out, the super flexible one.
Yeah.
He's just hypnotized.
He's like, oh my God.
He's looking straight at it. Yeah. He's like, what is about to happen?
Pawn is the man that every other man wants to be right now.
At least for this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we'll be back next week with more Game of Thrones action after episode number 4.
Eric will be back.
Eric will be back to give his negativity in this part. Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
Tell me, Pod. Have you ever been with a woman?
No, my lord.
Wonderful.